Good day. I am the voice of We Provoke Thought, and We Provoke Thought is an organization and show that is looking to be the platform for those who will have an opinion, idea, or educated information to share to the world. Look at We Provoke Thought as an outlet to voice your feelings and facts. Now, once we begin, we will continue with you having knowledge that the call is being recorded, that you agree to continue with the recorded call, and that you agree for We Provoke Thought to publish this call without releasing your identity, your phone number, name, or any information leading to you on We Provoke Thought's YouTube channel, on We Provoke Thought's Facebook fan page, and soon-to-be website. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and for all of my listeners out there, I'd like to again thank you for tuning in to We Provoke Thought. And for that, we do not apologize. But I'd also like to give a great level of transparency. A lot of times I point out that We Provoke Thought, what we do, we randomly call folks from around the country, trying to engage in a 2 to 5, 3, 10, sometimes even 30-minute dialogue on various subjects around the world as well as domestically at home. And sometimes we even may have guests who wish to just share personal issues that they're dealing with. But whenever I have guests that are scheduled callers or I would like to say honorary guests on the show there, I'd like to point that out to you so that you'll know the difference between a random call and a call in which we have already staged or set up via the emails, and sometimes I get messages where folks may want to point out different topics that they would like to hear being raised or questions that they may have, or if they too would like to be a part of the show and join in on the program to express themselves. So today I have a gentleman in which I had introduced to you all last week as The Thought. He is here with us today, and I'm going to have him respond to an email that I had gotten roughly about 5 days ago. Now, today is the 27th of August, 2013, and I had received an email from a young lady, I believe, according to her email name. But I will, of course, because there's a total anonymity here, I will not release that information, but I will release the question which she asked about the thought. And she said, and I quote, "I love your show. I find it quite interesting, and I like the whole concept. But I do have a question about the thought, the one in which you call the thought on your show. He doesn't seem to like white people, and that seems to go against the whole premise of your show. I don't know how that does, but at the end of the day, We Provoke Thought, we do not apologize for anything. I allow the callers, as well as any guests, to freely express themselves, their point of views on anything that they have, their positions. I try to make this a very biased and non-biased forum, so you can have an opinion and be strongly for or against anything. But I felt as though it was fair for me to point that out to the thought and allow him respond to it. So I'd like to introduce you all to the thought. The thought, good day. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, go ahead. There's really no question other than the one that was raised, or it's the statement that was raised, so she believed that you do not like white people. Well,
and I'm willing to address that question or comment from anybody of any race or any color. I get that a lot.
All right. Go ahead.
Fellow friends and family, you know. And let me just say this. It is intelligent. I'm going on record. It is intelligent for black folks not to like white people. Okay? And the reason why is because we can stop a lot of the problems within our communities and our families if we simply stop liking white folks. Because it's hard for us to like and get into each other because of our religion, sexuality, and all of these things that we practice that are European. It's nothing else. We practice in this country and any country where you are, where there's Europeans, you will practice their culture because white folks are not getting into your culture and your history. They will not be your friend. They will not be your lover. They will not be your assistant, anything. They will not be anything to you if you are in to your culture. Because I hear a lot of black people folks say, you know, I'm married to a white man. I'm married to a white woman. I got family that's such and such, and that's fine. But you haven't brought them to the reality of your culture and your history so they can deal with you. I have not met one white person in the world, in my life, that when I address them with my culture and my history, that they fool with me, as they say. They have nothing to do with you. And that's like kryptonite. You know, that's simply what it is. So I don't like white folks because I don't like white racism. Black folks, we don't have to have them around us. We don't have to be with them. We can get along fine amongst ourselves without them. It is them who need us. It is them who came into Africa. It is them who took us from Africa and brought us. We didn't ask to be around them at any time, under any circumstance. We don't need to be around. And today, we can fix our problems very simply. If white policemen weren't in our community, if white CIA agents weren't in and when I say white, I mean they send black folks in there too. I mean, don't get me wrong. But they serve white interests. And if we just had the free clinics and all this free crap they bring into the neighborhoods, like they act like white people don't like free cell phones and free this and free that. I don't know why they're always in our communities and never in their communities. Maybe it's because they are able to obtain free things from within. They don't need to set up any booths or anything. But nonetheless, we have to understand that it is intelligent for us to take that position with our enemy. And once you have that position, then you can deal with your enemies better. And if you don't believe it, just read the whole Martin Luther King thing, his whole life. He spent his whole life trying to eat, drink, and integrate with people that solely didn't like him. And if you talk to white people about Martin Luther King, they're okay with that. But if you talk to a white person about Marcus Garvey or Nat Turner or Malcolm X, they are not good with that because they fought white supremacy. So they don't really like you because if you're into your history and your culture, it is opposing to them. It is I'm sorry, I lose my words at times, but it is opposing to them and it is offensive to them. And that's how white supremacy is to us.
So let me be clear then. Let me be clear. And to answer the question of the listener who had asked I don't know if it was a question or more like a statement that you don't seem to like white people, I quote. Let me ask this question. Is it that you don't like white people as a whole, or you just, because I think you said earlier that you don't like white supremacy or white racism, I think it was that you said. So it's just that you don't like white racists. That you don't have, it's not like, John Doe, your next door neighbor, you don't like him just because he's white. You don't like him if he's white and racist against black people. Is that correct?
Right.
Or am I wrong? Or am I wrong in that?
No, meaning I can deal with white people. I do every day. We don't have a choice in this world. You have to deal with white folks because they control the land. They control all the resources. So we have to unfortunately, we have to deal with them and their racism. But yes, I'm saying that I don't like white folks because of their practices against black folks. They can exist wherever they want. They can even exist amongst me. I just ask them to leave us alone. They're always bothering us. They're always picking with us because they are predators. And so I don't.
But now I have to play both sides now. I have to play both sides now because I think we touched on this in our last call, that call or that show labeled John Doe and Coke, where I spoke about there were those who fought against slavery, fought side by side with blacks against slavery, and we mentioned the name. I want you to mention it. Remember?
John Brown.
John Brown, exactly. So we can identify with those white folks, if you will, that were for the freedom of black people and saw, I want to say, not color, because again, as I mentioned in that call, there are those white folks that will tell you, and I believe, sincerely feel as though that there is no racism within them. They see every man for themselves. They see every man as the man in which they present. You know, you judge not by your color, but by the content of your character and your ways and how in which you act and interact, and so on and so forth. So your dislike for white people are, again, I'm just trying to clarify or just trying to make sure that we understand where your position is. You don't like white people, the entire race, or you don't like racist white people?
I don't like white people, period. And why is because you cannot, listen, John Brown was a Christian. John Brown worked with black Africans who were not African-centered. Understand this. The Africans that was behind his crusade were Christians. Christianity in America is a European culture. I don't care what anyone says. Prove me wrong. It is not African. Now, they got some parts of Africa. You know, like everyone is borrowed from our culture, but they Europeanize it, or the Asians will swing it their way, and none of them can do it purely African, because you have to be African, I guess, to practice it. You know, the things that they've learned, 100% African. You'll have to be that, and they're not that, of course. Certainly not Europeans. But what I'm saying is, there's always an angle with them. Okay, slavery was not looked at as bad to white people.
Okay, now what about Hispanics who don't like black people?
Well, Hispanics are misinformed. I mean, Hispanics are African. I don't know what
you got love for the Hispanics though, but not the white people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Hispanics are African. Most Hispanics are African. Their roots are African. Hispanics don't enslave us.
But again, what about the Hispanics that don't like black people, who are racist towards black people?
Well, you got black people that don't like black people.
So what about them? What do you understand where I'm going with this? I mean, there's Asians that don't like black people too.
But Hispanics are not influential in our situation. They don't control the resources. They don't control public policy. They don't have any influence. They don't have any direct, connection with us in terms of our living, everyday living. They don't. So they don't have any.
Poppy don't like Papa, but that's okay. But the white man don't like black folks, and there's a problem. Asians don't like black folks. That's all right. But the white man don't like.
That's not all right. That's not all right.
So
let me make this clear. Okay, let me make this clear. People disagree with me on a lot of fronts when it comes to race, because I'm black, so only black people can play the race card. So I play the race card. But it's very obvious, our relationship with Asians, with Arabs, whether they have African blood in them or not, it's what they do to us. That's my whole position. So if you inflict harm on us, Asians inflict harm on us. They have policies in Africa. Africa is ours. You're not American. There's this whole European thing. If you want to get into it with them and be a part of it, go right ahead. That's your choice. But it still is not correct. They do their dirt in our land. They do their dirt in our communities. And they turn their back on us at the same time. Asians, it's not hard to see what Asians do. They come across the water. They go to school. They come over here. And everybody thinks they're geniuses. No, they come across this water. They open up a store in our community, and we take care of their families. That's basically it. They don't give a nickel back to our community. Are they obligated? No, they're not. But what I'm saying is, we have to understand people's racism upon us. Asians owe us for slavery. They own slaves. All up the Mediterranean, they were running slave business. Look that up. You can read all of that. They were in on slavery as well. Everybody was in on it. The Italians, and none of them. We owed money. You know, you talk about how they took care of the Jews and what they did after, you know, the whole thing with the Jews and you know, Hitler and all of that mess. And they got reparations. We still have not gotten reparations. I'm not talking about this paper money. I'm talking about what's rightfully owned to black folks. And if you could find one white person that said, yeah, I apologize for slavery, and we owe y'all for slavery, and this is how we owe you. You can't have a relationship, a friendship with people outside that don't respect you. And that's my whole position. Asians, whites, Indians, they do not respect Africans. And somehow in this country, they're able to reverse it and make it seem like, poor, middle class, or low class black person that has a position against white racism or Asian racism or any other racism inflicted on us is racist. And you need to address this. We cannot be racist back. There is a law against that. You got, what's the woman named? The Paula woman that called us niggers, and she gets to keep her millions. And Don Imus called black women some nappy-headed. Paula Dean. Don Imus called black women some nappy-headed hoes. He keeps his millions. Michael Jackson calls one white man a devil. And white people understand that when you call a white man a devil, you're calling all of them devils. And he paid for it. He paid for that, whether you want to believe it or not. You cannot say anything. Tim Hardaway was on TV. He said, I can't stand gays. I hate gays. No, whether we can all smoke a cigarette, we can agree that smoking a cigarette is not good for you. But you engage in it. What's wrong with people saying it's not good to smoke? That's bad for you. It'll kill you. Cigarettes are not good for you. They're not, and they still sell it. So what's wrong with someone speaking against homosexuality? It's not. You can't change it. Black folks, we have no political power. So we can talk all we want. We don't have a military. We don't have any land. The guns that we have is controlled by white folks in our communities. That's why we use it on each other. So why can't we speak? So they can answer that question for me is what Bill Cosby said some time ago. He was quoted as saying, black folks have a reason to dislike white folks. What is white folks' excuse?
All right. Well, I'm going to end it on that there. I believe that you have truly answered the question. If there was any question for our person that emailed, as well as for anyone who has been listening, we now know what the thought thinks about certain groups and has feelings, and it's his right. No need to apologize for that. It's his right, and we now know the position that you take. But at the same time, you have a reason for feeling that way, and you've expressed it, and you'll have many opportunities to continue to express that along with other issues that go along and your perspective on it, because it's good to see where other people see things, because you believe one thing and I believe another. You know, how do we find ourselves on the same road together? Because at the end of the day, we all are trying to reach somewhere, and usually that place that we're all trying to reach is somewhere towards the light, because that's what we're drawn towards. We're drawn towards the light. And I like to think that, you know, for the most part, with the exception of the demons and devil that runs around on this planet, you know, we all are looking towards the light. So I want to thank you, The Thought, for expressing yourself today, and I would like to thank the listeners for listening. I'd also like to thank that young woman that emailed me today, or excuse me, several days ago, with that question. And I I'm glad that I was able to get that question answered for you. So hopefully this will provide a greater insight on just the different areas and perspectives that we bring about on We Provoke Thought. Because here we provoke thought, and for that we do not apologize. I am the voice. I again thank you all for listening, but before I go, I'd like to allow the thought to finish up there and say goodbye to you all as well.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, fair enough. I thank you all. I'll say goodbye to you on the other end.
This call has been recorded.